All right, guys, we got a doozy for you, so let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, man.
For a stay of the decision.
Well, Judge Netburn, I want to continue on this line of questioning.
And I just want to preface this before we get into the video. I just want to say that I'm a fan of Ted Cruz. And the reason why I'm a fan of Ted Cruz is what's going to be demonstrated in this video today. Because, well, like I said, you'll see.
In your court, what matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you.
Just starting out. You know what I mean? He's vicious. He's starting out. He asked a direct question. Asked a direct question. How do your political ideologies affect how you would basically do your job? In a nutshell, in layman's terms, that's what he asked her. And she basically, she's just trying to do what you notice that a lot of woke people, a lot of the left tend to do, is they lie. Just saying.
I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case
Does he have receipts, guys? He has receipts.
Involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
And also criminal deviant conduct, which the record doesn't disclose what that was exactly. Then, after serving in prison, Mr. McClain was released.
Wait a minute. So, just so we're clear, what he was saying was this guy, or what she was saying is that this guy is now going as a she. So this guy is a transformer, for lack of better terms. Who?
For parole, but then violated the terms of parole by having internet and was sent back to prison. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
Jesus Christ.
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that
Have sympathy on me, YouTube, please.
that was images of adults violently raping children.
Jesus.
Abhorrent conduct,
Okay,
for which there are real victims.
and this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago, you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female.
Sheesh. He said he wrote it down. Sober and entirely a female. Wow. This is a mental illness, guys.
That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
That is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist,
Jesus Christ.
serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that...
I need y'all to really... What the hell, man? I need y'all to really take into perspective and pay attention to what he really just said. This is insane. This is insane what he would... What we're really dealing with is this woman assigned this man into a female prison because the man said, you know, and let's just be real. Does this man really identify as a woman? Probably not. He just didn't want to go and get treated like a chomo like how they do. Like, let's just be real. Let's just be real. This guy didn't want to be, he didn't want to suffer the consequences that will come to a man who does such egregious crimes. These egregious things that this man is doing. And guess what? Guess what? This idiot assigned him into a female prison. And y'all don't think nothing's wrong with that. Y'all don't think that it's something wrong with the fact that somebody can literally commit a crime as one gender and then literally just say, okay, well, I just want a lighter punishment, so I'm gonna change my gender, and then that's just supposed to be okay. I understand that people say that gender identity dysphoria is a mental illness, but guess what? We also have to maybe consider the possibility that it might be a mental illness in order to encourage people to do these things. I'm not talking about how you live your life. I'm not criticizing how you choose to move. I'm saying that this should not be allowed to happen. This shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're
Yes,
asking me?
the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision
I asked you a
based on what
question.
the law
I asked
is.
you a question. Do
Just
they have a
straight.
right not to have a 6'2" man who is
Get in there. Get in there. I love when people do that. Don't let people get away from the question like that. Don't do none of that dancing. It was a straight question. Do you believe that they had a right to not have that person in their presence, to not have to cohabitate with somebody that's, one, a man, and two, that's convicted of these egregious crimes? Like, let's just be for real. Like, this is insane.
serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think,
Oh, I hate that so much. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. The idea of being assigned a gender. No, that's not how it works. Like, come on, man. It's not how that works. You are what you are. Now, if you want to change that, then and acknowledge that, then whatever. But like, come on. Like, let's just stop with all this. I'm not assigned a man. I am a man. I got a penis. Ugh.
you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty
Shade.
lounge with no bearing on reality. Bureau prison Orchid. What I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological.
I need y'all to really understand what we're talking about right now. Like, this is just, this is insane. This is insane.
Begun.
This is insane that a man could literally commit an egregious crime, and because of these gender politics and this LGBT movement, I'm just saying, like, whatever. I'm not attacking people's lifestyle. What I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, it's common sense. It's common sense. In this situation, you would think.
Penological.
You would think it's common sense, is all I'm saying.
interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say. But there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked...
You know, see, man, that's why I like Ted Cruz. That's why I told you earlier. This is why I like him, because he's a lawyer, man. Like, he's an attorney. Like, it's a skill to be able to do this, and it's amazing. Like, I love to see it. Like, yeah, I get that you've been told to repeat that. Yeah, that's cute and all. What's Fannie Willis' favorite for her line? That was cute, but no, but yeah, he's like, I see what you're doing. I get that you have your rehearsed lines that you've gone over with your attorney, but let's talk about the real.
Question: in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
YouTube.
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
Whoo! And I just want to just point out that we have to, you got to give credit where it's due, because everybody's not good at persuasion like that. And that's why I say, in order to really be a good debater, you have to be able to convince and persuade people to your side. You know what I mean? You have to be able to make arguments, and that's what a lot of people actually don't know how to do. They don't know how to make arguments. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I'm just saying there are people like, but I mean, the reason why I'm a fan of Ted Cruz is because this is the kind of stuff where you need people to fight for. Now, does that mean that I would ever move to Texas? No, because guess what? But what I'm saying is that somebody has to fight for morals and values and right and wrong. And this is common sense that is wrong. Common sense.
Hold up. I heard you're ready to take charge of your financial future. Look no further than Weeble.
Judge Netburn, there was an opportunity during your exchange with Senator Cruz that you were...
Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, or like and subscribe to the channel, because, you know what I mean, we're gonna keep getting into this unfiltered reviews. That's, you know, like... we don't go along to get along. That's all I'm gonna say.
attempting to offer a response relative to the conditions under which this petitioner was unsafe in the facilities in which she was being held. I'd like to offer you the opportunity to finish that response.
So the facts that were presented to me and what I relied on to make my decision were that the petitioner had engaged in no violence, no physical violence, no acts of sexual violence whatsoever while in custody. All 3 wardens who supervised the petitioner requested that she be transferred to a women's facility because of her serious medical needs. In addition, the Bureau of Prisons' longtime medical provider testified at a 2-day hearing in my courtroom and recommended that the petitioner be transferred because of her serious medical needs. And the last thing I'll say is that the Transgender Executive Council, which is the body that makes decisions on behalf of transgender transfer requests within the Bureau of Prisons, never said that the petitioner could not be transferred, and never, ever said that she couldn't be transferred because of any risk of violence. What the Transgender Executive Council repeatedly said in
It's common sense, man. It's common sense. It's common sense.
denying the request was simply that she needed to maintain her hormone levels. That was the repeated justification for the denial of transfer. But the petitioner had reached full female hormone levels before even being incarcerated. At the time, the district judge in Indiana who sentenced the petitioner requested that she be placed in a women's facility. Her hormones were entirely female at that point, and so the decision by the Transgender Executive Council to deny the transfer request based on this idea that it was only because her hormones needed to be consistent and stabilized, I found was a pretext, but they never once said she cannot be transferred because of violence. It was always based on this idea that her hormones had to be.
Thank you, Judge Netburn. Senator
Judge Netburn,
Padilla.
that's
Senator
directly contrary to what your
Senator, you
report
all
said.
have
That is
had
directly
no,
contrary.
no.
We're going to
Whoa. Here we go.
No,
You're
there
going to
is
follow
no
up, and that's
follow-up.
how it
No,
works.
there is not.
That is
There
exactly
is-
how it works.
Look,
If
we
you
gonna be
follow
allowed
up,
to
you didn't get
ask
extra time,
questions?
and she just directly contradicted her own report. I'm just going to read her own words
just sitting
because
fair,
it's
Madam
exactly
Chair.
the opposite of what she said. Your own
Chair.
report.
Senators,
said, quote,
I gave both of you more time
You-
to finish your
you
line
allowed
of
the witness to
questioning.
testify
I
and
allowed the
introduce
witness
facts.
to
You jumped in
finish
and took
her.
another round.
I allowed
You
the
took
witness
another
to
round.
finish
You
her
opened the door.
response.
You
I
opened the
allowed
door
the
to this.
witness to finish
You're
her
abusing
response.
your status
That is,
chair.
Okay, I understand
That
that you're
is not-
scared of the
You
are
facts.
abusing
I
your
have-
status
Madam
as chair.
Senator
Madam Chair,
Padilla?
You
Madam
can't
Chair,
just open
Thank you,
up
Madam Chair.
testimony and then
she
not
has an
give us a
obligation to
chance
explain
cross-examine.
why she directly contradicted what she wrote in her report. She says in her report, the Bureau of Prisons' claimed penological interest is in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. She just told you the Bureau of Prisons didn't say there was a concern about sexual violence and trauma. Those are directly contradictory, and why are you contradicting what you wrote in your report?
And what are
Thank
you
you, Madam
trying to
Chair. I
hide,
believe
Madam
I have
Chair?
the
floor.
No, wait, point of
I
order.
believe
Senator
I
Padilla.
have the
What are
floor.
you
Senator
trying to
Padilla.
hide,
Are you going to let her
Madam
answer that question?
Senator
or you
Padilla.
don't want her to answer that question?
Senator
You're
Padilla.
afraid?
This
Very
is
much,
a
Madam
cover-up,
Chair.
Madam
Senator
Chair.
Are you
Padilla.
afraid of the answer to
This
that?
is
Colleague.
no
Cover-up.
Are you
Senator
afraid
Padilla.
of the answer to that question?
Senator
Colleagues,
Padilla.
So yes,
My
you are
time.
afraid of the answer to that question.
Senator Padilla.
Please hold
Clearly,
my
you're
time.
afraid of the answer to that question.
This is
Thank you.
absurd.
To the nominees before us, appreciate your patience and your dignity.
Ooh, sheesh. Boy, what they look. I'm not gonna lie though. At least I've seen videos. I've seen videos of how they get down over in Europe and they break out in a fist fight. So I'm not even mad at it. But honestly, I just think that this was fairly entertaining. And I just honestly, I like I said, I'm on Team Cruz on this one because I mean he's right. I mean it's common sense. Why would you trust somebody to be a judge and to be a lawmaker if they have such a lapse of judgment to where they would put a biological male into a female prison? That's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. But you know. Not much makes sense these days. Not much at all.